Steelers enthusiasts received unfavorable news about a key player situation this past weekend. I'll address that right at the start of today's edition. Additionally, disagreements have arisen regarding the status of a certain team member. At the end, I'll reveal which account I find most reliable. But before we dive into the content and begin another week of analysis, let's commit ourselves to outperforming our rivals. Just recently, we gained 67 new followers. Tijamegwe on the EU. Best result we recorded last week. It would be fantastic to surpass that number today so we can kick off the week on the right foot. Our goal is to reach 100 new followers every day. We offer comprehensive, free coverage of the team. So to our new viewers, we count on your support to help us outshine the competition, and we greatly appreciate every bit of it. Now, let's turn to the latest developments involving a prominent NFL athlete who attended his annual traditional event this past weekend, bringing along several league friends. Normally, he opts for more extravagant attire, but this time he chose a simple navy blue suit paired with sunglasses. The bad news is that today marks the beginning of the NFL offseason's second phase, and he still hasn't signed the contract to become the team's next starting quarterback. That raises concern among fans, as it likely means we'll have to wait even longer for his decision and signature. We'll have to wait until the next stage of the offseason, which kicks off on May 27, 2025, when the team's organized team activities begin. You may be wondering, why is he delaying the signing? Why not just sign now? In fact, we'll need to wait until the NFL's next off-season phase, which starts on May 28th, when the team's organized team activities officially commence in 2025. Your question at home is probably, why did he decide to wait? Why not formalize the deal now and then skip the voluntary portions of the off-season program? There are a few possibilities. First, he may not want to participate in phases 1 and 2, which essentially involve low-impact activities like meetings, weightlifting, and rehabilitation with the team. Now that we're entering phase 2, starting today, the team can go onto the field and run individual drills, practice plays at a relaxed pace, but they cannot scrimmage one another, whether they're wearing pads or not. When we reach phase 3, beginning May 28th, only a few weeks away, that's when full-speed team simulations will start to be integrated into practice sessions, albeit still without pads. It's worth considering that the player might wish to avoid committing prematurely to a new team. Everyone expects him to participate in the organized team activities and off-season program. And if he doesn't show up, he could face severe criticism as he did last year when he skipped the different teams' organized workouts. He certainly doesn't want to sign and then be accused of skipping voluntary workouts. Curiously, he's already taking heat now for not having signed with the new team. In trying to evade criticism, he ends up drawing even more frustration from the new fan base he's likely to join in 2025. However, I find it understandable if he misses phases 1 and 2, given his 2 decades of league experience and his familiarity with the new team's playbook. I don't believe his presence is essential for weightlifting sessions. I believe it's not problematic for Rodgers to skip the first 2 phases. With 20 years in the league and a deep understanding of the playbook, his attendance at light training or lifting sessions isn't critical. However, I would like to see him at the start of organized team activities, which corresponds to phase 3. If he isn't present by May 27, that's when my concern will begin to grow. His participation in every offensive and defensive drill during the off-season program is vital to developing chemistry among teammates. Bonds are formed on the field, and it's important that these connections are strong before the 2025 season begins, especially between Rodgers and the players around him. Personally, I believe the Steelers should reassess their pursuit of him by the mandatory minicamp on June 10th. Although that's more than a month away, I'm willing to wait, since everything before that is optional. However, once mandatory minicamp starts, every veteran on the roster is expected to attend. Therefore, if Rodgers hasn't signed by that date, I think that's when discontent could surface in the locker room, a scenario I prefer he avoid. So my deadline is June 10th, the mandatory minicamp. Another reason for the signing delay could be that he's helping friends in California rebuild their lives. He likely sees that as a more meaningful way to spend his time than being in Pittsburgh during the early phases of the off-season program. Rodgers has several friends in California who lost their homes and livelihoods due to the wildfires. He's repeatedly stated that he'll do whatever it takes to support them and help them find new housing. Undoubtedly, they've endured tremendous emotional strain, losing irreplaceable family heirlooms and other significant possessions. Losing one's home is profoundly impactful. It seems Rodgers believes his time is better spent aiding these friends rather than focusing on football during the offseason's initial phases. Yet another point to consider is that he appears to have recently married. Reports suggest he's in a relationship with someone who stayed out of the spotlight, avoiding social media and public attention. However, he was seen at the Kentucky Derby last weekend wearing a wedding ring. Clearly, he's in a serious relationship, something he mentioned recently on a program. It seems he's elevated his personal life to a new level and may want to spend quality time with his spouse in California, enjoying a sort of honeymoon and partaking in various activities before officially signing with the Steelers. In the end, despite these developments, the main narrative doesn't change. I still believe it's only a matter of time before he decides to become the Steelers' starting quarterback. My forecast is that this will likely happen around the start of organizing team activities, possibly a little earlier to get adjusted the week before practice begins. However, the unfavorable news for fans today is that it looks like they'll have to wait a bit longer for his decision. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL world, quarterback Trevor Lawrence has officially arrived at the Pittsburgh Steelers headquarters to finalize a contract that could redefine the future of the franchise. The scene was electric. Outside the team's training facility this morning, as fans gathered, eager to catch a glimpse of the former #1 overall pick, who is set to bring his star power to one of the league's most storied franchises. Lawrence, 25, stepped out of a black SUV shortly before 9 a.m. local time, wearing a sharp gray suit and accompanied by his agent and team representatives. He briefly acknowledged the crowd with a wave and a smile before disappearing into the building to complete what sources say is a multi-year agreement that makes him the centerpiece of Pittsburgh's offensive rebuild. After 3 seasons with the Jacksonville Jaguars marked by flashes of brilliance and uneven team success, Lawrence's move to Pittsburgh signals a fresh start, both for the player and for a Steelers squad that has been searching for its next franchise quarterback. Since the retirement of Ben Roethlisberger, the Steelers, known for their proud history and tough identity, now add a dynamic talent with a rocket arm, surprising mobility, and elite football IQ. While no official contract details have been released, early reports suggest the deal could rank among the most lucrative in team history. It also reflects the Steelers' commitment to returning to playoff contention and competing in a highly competitive AFC North division. Fans and analysts alike are buzzing with speculation about how head coach Mike Tomlin and his staff will tailor the offense to maximize Lawrence's skill set. For now, Pittsburgh celebrates the arrival of a potential superstar, with hopes that Lawrence can deliver the kind of leadership and performance that will ignite a new era of Steelers football. Only time will tell how this high-stakes partnership unfolds. But one thing is certain, the Steel City just got a lot more interesting. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.